Hi, my name is Christopher Height, and I'm standing in the woods here, surrounded by hemlock, maple, cherry, and ash trees. Kind of a swampy area here in Chautauqua County in western New York State. And I grew up in these woods, and I grew up drinking the water that came from these swampy areas right here, well water. I grew up drinking well water every day. Yeah, it was kind of irony tasting, but you know, your body gets used to that, but it was clean, and I didn't have any major health problems growing up. I'm telling you all this because, much like the rest of rural western New York State, this water's at risk at being polluted by hydrocarbons and methane gas due to this practice of hydraulic fracturing, commonly known as fracking. As I understand it, as of December 24th, 2012, and that's the date today, Christmas Eve 2012, the state of New York has a moratorium on fracking. I would like to implore you, as a person who grew up drinking water from the land around here, not to allow fracking to take place. Now, I'm going to lay out some arguments. There are those that say that this area has been economically depressed and that the fracking fortunes that the landowners around here would make would be a boon to the economy. Well, I don't buy that argument. If you look at some of the contracts that have been signed so far, you see that a lot of the oil and gas companies, they do give anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 per acre that they use. So if you own a 100-acre plot, they may only use 2 or 3 acres. So you're going to risk generations and generations of clean drinking water for maybe $10,000, maybe $15,000. To me, it's just not a good wager. A lot of our neighbors to the south in Pennsylvania and Ohio, mostly in Pennsylvania, have already made that wager, and they're paying the price. The air stinks in a lot of areas down there, and the groundwater's been contaminated. But beyond that, I mean, even if the oil and gas companies are able to protect the water, you know, and they make these Halliburton made a green fracking fluid that the governor of Colorado, Governor Hickenlooper, drank as a demonstration. They made green fracking fluid that he drank. Even if they are able to frack and leave the environment as it was, we are seeing the effects of climate change. My argument against fracking, yes, is for the environment and for the protection of the water that I grew up drinking, in the hope that, you know, 7, 10, 30, 100 generations down the road, my descendants and the descendants of my neighbors around here can also survive on drinking the clean water from the ground right around here that doesn't need to be treated in a city water treatment plant. Not only do I argue from that, but I argue even if that's safe, even if that were safe, we live at a time when carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere is increasing every single day. The Earth's temperature is rising, the sea levels are rising, to the point where we can't stop it. And the only hope we have of remediating the effects of climate change are adapting and coping with climate change. And I don't think doing things like fracking for natural gas are the answer. We need a completely new approach, a new infrastructure approach, a new transportation approach. Sorry, Ben's knocking my makeshift tripod here. We need to have a completely new approach when it comes to living our lives, and we need to minimize the use of fossil fuels. I believe that very strongly, and even if you were able to do fracking with 100% environmental safety in mind, that doesn't matter. The end result is still going to be more carbon in the atmosphere. In order to make a real change, we need to just stop that mentality, stop using the old infrastructure. So my main argument against fracking though it is much environmental for the areas fracked, namely the area that I grew up, my main argument is no, we just have to get off processes that add carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. It's very simple science. Not only does it raise the temperature and then therefore create havoc for people living in coastal areas, but it's killing our seas. It's killing our seas because it acidifies our oceans. I don't think a lot of people really get that basic idea either. The higher the concentration carbon dioxide is in the air, in the atmosphere, the thin layer around our planet, that comes to equilibrium with the liquid around the planet and creates carbonic acid in the seas, which then therefore kills entire ecosystems, starting with the corals in our seas. And that I think a lot of people miss when they talk about climate change. You know, we talk a lot about, oh, the capacity, the buffering capacity of the oceans. Yeah, there is, but we're getting beyond that capacity to the point where there's no going back. And there probably is no going back. But my Yuletime message to all of my followers out there on tompainesghost.com and elsewhere on the internet is, when you're thinking about arguing, yes, you need to look at data and facts, and there may be data and facts out there that say that fracking can be done with minimized environmental impacts, and that's fine. However, the overarching point of fracking will lead to more fossil fuel combustion is not addressed by those kind of side fixes, the diverting concerns. So please think about what I've just said to you. Let me know what you think in the comments below here on YouTube and on my blog, Tom Paine's Ghost. Christopher Height on this December 24th, 2012. Good Yule, and I hope to see you in the future.